Well, hello and welcome back to Module 4, where we're talking about learning from games. And this is really about how can we take a traditional activity and how can we improve it by gamifying it in some ways. We're going to have a little look at augmented reality in a minute, and later on in the module we'll look at geocaching, gamification and digital badges. Now, in my little introduction to Module 4, we were talking about Scrabble, and we were saying that how important Scrabble is as a game educationally, but also how for some people it might not be suitable, and for others it could be enhanced and more appealing by gamifying it slightly, by adding that kind of social aspect to things. Now, interestingly, because I like Scrabble, I also came across an app which is available for Android and iOS, and it's an app which is called Seek and Spell. And what Seek and Spell does is that it uses augmented reality. And just to explain, augmented reality is when you take a tablet or you take a smartphone, and because your tablet or smartphone knows where you are, because it's got a GPS in it, because it knows which way you're facing, because it's got an accelerometer in it, and because it's constantly connected to the internet via 3G or via Wi-Fi, it can superimpose a layer of virtual data onto a real life landscape because it's got a camera in it. And this concept of augmented reality, augmenting the real world with digital data, is starting to get more and more popular. On the course notes, I've sent you a link to the IKEA app so that you can actually put virtual furniture in your house before you go away and buy it. Anyway, back to Seek and Spell. Why I was interested in this is because it takes basically the premise of Scrabble, an education game which has worked for a long time, and you go outside and Seek and Spell augments virtual letters in a park or on a school playing field. And then the game starts and you have to run around to catch as many letters as possible, and then when you get back you rearrange the letters in order to get the points. It's great fun and it's competitive, and non-threatening. There's also a degree of tactics which are involved as well, because the most successful players will be tactical about which letters they pick up first, and that might not always be the ones that are closest to them. So isn't it interesting how we've seen a very simple game like Scrabble evolve and evolve and evolve, and every single paradigm shift and paradigm change in that game is equally important, but at the same time it's hopefully starting to get these key messages across to a greater group of people. And there's lots of other examples of augmented reality which are around and about. Pac-Manhattan is another one of my favourites, where you explore an urban place, but as you explore an urban place you have to be careful not to get caught by the ghosts, and at the same time you're encouraged to explore it in a way by eating the food, for example eating the cherries. And again, you might think this isn't very relevant for us in schools, but it is an interesting way to explore an urban place, and a great example again how we're starting to merge the virtual world with the real world in a very playful way. My favourite augmented reality app of all time, and it's been my favourite now for about the last 2 years, it's just so well designed, is something that's called Hidden Park. And you can play this game in some parks around the world, or you can also set up your own park. And basically it's a fantasy story, and you use your phone's GPS in order to be able to navigate around. And when you get to certain locations you have to do certain challenges. For example, have your picture taken with a dragon. Now obviously it's not a real dragon, it's a virtual dragon which is imposed onto your photograph using augmented reality. And as well as this being a nice and fun and imaginative activity to do by yourself or with your family, it's also as well provides an interesting context for learning about dragons, or learning about mythical beasts, or learning about dinosaurs. In another activity, you use your phone as a scanner, right, to discover what's actually living in the trees. Again, a great way, a great introduction to learn more about mini beasts. And if you're interested in the soil, there's one place that you go to and a soil monster comes out and he speaks to you about some of the challenges that he's got about living underground. Again, a great context for learning. It's not just augmented reality apps that we get on tablets and smartphones anymore, however. This all really started with the Sony PlayStation camera, but the Kinect has really revolutionised augmented reality in the living room. Playful learning by Microsoft is a great example, I think, of how you've got the next generation of television. So you watch National Geographic TV or you watch Sesame Street TV through your games console, and then as you're watching the program, there are parts that you can interact. So for example, you can actually appear in the program in Sesame Street TV, and the characters will recognise the sorts of colours that you're wearing, and they'll wear the same colours as you. You can also do things like practice counting exercises by throwing coconuts, virtual coconuts, into the television program, and they'll throw virtual coconuts back to you. And in the schools that we've tried this in, the children have absolutely loved it because it's based on sound educational principles, but that interactivity and playfulness has really helped enhance the experience. In this final screenshot here, you can see this is a couple of children that are taking the role of bears. Again, it's using augmented reality. They've got bear paws on their hands and bear heads on their own heads, and they're trying to catch bees, and later on they have to catch salmon from a fast-flowing river up in Alaska. What a great and exciting context for learning, and adding to that experience of what was just traditional television. So why don't you go away and have a think about any augmented reality apps that you've got, and also why don't you go away and see if you can research some other augmented reality apps which might be useful in the classroom. I'll see you next time.